Hello. So, continuing our series on the mystery of death. Once again, a little reinforcement. Current science is based on what is called naive realism. Naive realism has certain principles. It's based on subject-object split, artificial. It is based on the assumption that matter is the ontological primitive. False assumption, in my view, because matter is a perceptual activity in human consciousness, therefore a modified form of consciousness, a particular perceptual quality of consciousness. And then, of course, naive realism is based on the idea that the look of the world, the human look of the world, is the picture of it. Obviously, can't be true. That even if humans disappeared, the universe would look exactly the way it looks to humans. Anyway, we've covered this ground before. So now what I'd like to do is, one more thing. Anything conceived and perceived is a temporary fluctuation of consciousness. And therefore, you can call it whatever you want to call it: dream, maya, illusion, fluctuation, vibration, vritti in Sanskrit, shakti, that which gives power of manifestation. All these are nice words. But do understand that anything perceived and conceived cannot be reality. Reality is that which conceives and perceives. And I've given a definition of consciousness for you repeatedly, but I'll repeat it again. Consciousness is that which makes experience possible. It is that in which all experience occurs, is known, and out of which experience is made. Something I heard Rupert Spira say many years ago, and it struck me as absolutely beautiful as a definition of consciousness. And finally, consciousness is what conceives, constructs, governs, and becomes the universe that we experience and other universes that we experience. And the fluctuations of consciousness after a little bit of incubation, after death, they continue because the dream continues. A system that is in perfect equilibrium is unstable. So it is the business of consciousness to keep creating. And because that consciousness is non-local, acausal, fundamental, spaceless, timeless, and infinite, it will create infinitely. And, I repeat Rumi's poem, when I die, I will soar with angels. When I die to the angels, what I shall become, you cannot imagine. So now I want to show you a little graph, okay? It's called the spiritual planes of existence. I'm sure you can't see it, but I'm going to describe it for you. Okay, so we start with inanimate objects. Inanimate objects like this. What are these inanimate objects? They are dense, lower vibrations of consciousness. And that includes the human brain and the human body. The human body and the human brain and the physical world go together. So inanimate objects are fluctuating appearances of consciousness. But the vibrations are dense, which means low frequency. And so we experience inanimate objects as solid, hard, etc. The second level is a little less dense than, say, a rock. And that would be the physical body of biological organisms. Your body, my body, the bodies of worms, the bodies of plants, the bodies of animals, reptiles, mammals, etc. What's the difference between the inanimate object and the physical object? Well, one is that inanimate objects do not move by themselves. And actually they do at a quantum level. So if I take a snapshot of an inanimate object and then take one a little bit later, its center of gravity has shifted. But for all practical appearances, they don't move. But then animate objects, physical bodies, they move on their own through volition. And there is another aspect to them. They contain what we call solid, liquid, and gas constituents. So the solid constituents in spiritual literature or mystery schools is referred to, the solid appearance is referred to as the physical body. But as you know, the physical body also has liquids, blood, circulation, fluids, etc. The physical body also has air, gas, which is our breath. Okay, so the physical body is actually a combination of solids, liquids, gases. And of course, at the most fundamental level, it's made of space. That's why spiritual traditions, Ayurveda, Yoga, Vedanta, refer to the physical body as made of the 5 elements: space, air, water, fire. Fire is the metabolic transformation, and earth. That's the physical body. Okay, so we have done now with the explanation of inanimate objects and animate objects. Animate objects are much more fluid and mobile, but they're also perceptual appearances, snapshots of perception, snapshots, fertilized egg, zygote, embryo, baby, toddler, etc., teenager, young adult, mature adult, old adult, all the way to dusty death. So that's the physical body, a dense vibration, low frequency vibration. It includes the brain. And actually it's entangled with what we call the physical universe, the two go. So I'm told that the speaker can't be detected, but I think it can. Okay, so now let's move on. Finer vibrations of consciousness, all imagined, all fluctuations, all dreams, all Maya, all part of the matrix. So these fluctuations of consciousness are in spiritual traditions also imagined realms, like this one is an imagined realm. And these includes ghosts, apparitions, psychic phenomena. So, psychic phenomena means dormant, non-local potentials that are an expression of finer states of consciousness as we are moving upward. And then from this level, we move to another level. We can call it the astral body, the astral physical body, and the astral, what you call universal body. Astra means stars, so electromagnetic and fluctuating forms. I know my critics will say, there he goes again, talking about the quantum mechanical body, but actually the astral body is the quantum mechanical body, as is the astral world. Okay, now we go a little further up frequency, more finer and finer, and we enter the celestial body. Celestial. This is finest frequency, or let's say, finest, almost finest frequency. So this is the realm of angels, divine beings, imagined. In every spiritual tradition, there are angels. The Buddhists also have peaceful and wrathful deities. So deities, the realm of deities, deity, divine. Actually, in Vedanta, the mechanics of perception is a divine phenomenon. So it's called devata. So Rishi is the seer, Devata is the fluctuation that gives rise to cognition and perception, and Chand is the appearance of the dream world, which could be experienced as the physical world because you're immersed in it. So now we also know what immersive experiences are. Our technology is taking us into the metaverse with immersive experiences. We are creating our own avatars, but this is an avatar, and this is the incarnation of the avatar. We can take it finer and finer, which is what metaverse technologies are doing. Okay, so celestial realms, angels, divine beings, deities, peaceful and wrathful deities, the angels that are evolutionary, and the fallen angels that represent entropy. And then beyond that, all fluctuations cease. I might say there are still finest fluctuations, which we can call the body of bliss. The body of bliss is now conceiving, imagining, constructing, governing, and becoming every other realm of existence. So last night on my astral journey, I had this amazing experience where I saw the destruction of the universe. Shiva is destroyer, creator, incubator, all the same thing, metaphorically speaking. So there are 5 phases of Shiva: creation, maintenance, destruction, incubation, resurrection. So in my travels last night, astral travels, I saw all of them. And then I said, does science have anything to say about this? Because science is, again, a wonderful construct for giving models of reality. It doesn't look at reality, but it gives us models of reality, which are very actually practical as well. So this is what I found on the internet after much research, that the universe can be destroyed at any time, even it may have already happened, only that the waves of destruction have not yet reached us. We tend to think that the space-time continuum is stable, gives us a sense of and that gives us a sense of tranquility and all that, but it doesn't have to be that way. We do not know too much. We do not know, for example, if the cosmos known to science comes from a false vacuum or from a true vacuum. And then I went a little deeper into the internet to see what this thing is that people are calling false vacuum and true vacuum. And so this is what I found on the internet. The doomsday clock is a symbol that represents the likelihood of catastrophe. Of course, they're talking about climate change and all of that. But there is also a little interesting description of false vacuum and true vacuum. So the true vacuum is supposed to be creation. The universe came out of that vacuum. We call it the Big Bang. And the false vacuum is a little less stable, apparently, than the true vacuum, or that's what I read. And that causes destruction. And so what I read in the literature was that if we are living in a false vacuum, then the universe has already been destroyed, but the waves of destruction may take billion years or more, billions of years to reach us where we are. But it's already destroyed. We're living right now, therefore, in a world of dreams, ghosts. If the false vacuum is what's there and not the true vacuum. If the true vacuum is there, then the universe began 13.8 billion years ago. Now, I think from my perspective, these are slightly false dichotomies. The true vacuum and the false vacuum exist simultaneously. And so creation and destruction are going on simultaneously, all at the same time. It just is a matter of where you find yourself right now. But they're going on simultaneously. And they're both actually creations of what we call imagination, fluctuations of consciousness, and one on a cosmic scale, and then on the atomic scale, of more, microcosmic scale. There's a nice phrase in the Vedanta, yatha pinde tatha brahmande. As is the atom, so is the universe, as is the human body, the cosmic body, the human mind, the cosmic mind. So think of all this and everything else as simultaneously appearing as entangled appearances or entangled qualia. And that is constantly transforming. And if we think in relative time, then the creation was 13.8 billion years ago and will end somewhere in the distant future, if you think in relative time. But if you think in absolute terms, then all of that is happening right now. Okay, this is a little more in our excursion, in our travels, in our travels through the mystery of mysteries. But what I'm going to plan, I think, I'm still thinking about it, I'll continue this series as a guide. Since it's all imagined, let me, as the avatar, take you through this world of the mysteries of mysteries. Take care, my friends.